There's no sign of a white Christmas in Twickenham. Climate change is a hot issue in December the 12th's general election campaign, and Labour has pledged to plant 2 billion trees by 2040 in their manifesto. According to the BBC, that's 270,000 trees planted per day. The South West Londoner spoke to Labour Party candidate Ranjeev Walia to find out how he would bring Labour's green revolution to Twickenham.
So Twickenham is very polluted, and I think what we've got to look at is the fantastic policies that we have in our manifesto to change that. And first off, we've got the Green Industrial Revolution, which we're going to be investing in very heavily in order to retrofit houses across Richmond Borough to ensure that they're well insulated and we're reducing the amount of fuel that we need to heat our houses. Secondly, we're also going to be going on a massive drive to plant trees, and I think planting trees is beneficial not just to the environment but just in terms of general health as well. So that will be a massive drive in Twickenham. And then the third aspect is to cut emissions as much as possible, and that's traffic emissions. So we've got to look at greener ways of getting around and transport policies and making sure that buses are affordable for children, because we want to give free buses to any young adults actually up to the age of 25, so that they can get to the places they need to ensure that they are getting there in a very, very minimally impact way to the environment. I've got lots of fantastic Christmas presents this year, and I'm going to wrap them up in nice little bows as well. So the first present's for Boris, and Boris, I'd love to give him his P45 when he loses Uxbridge, but also for Jo Swinson, because I think it'd only be fair to share the presents around, and Jo Swinson would get a P45 as well, because she might lose her constituency. Jeremy Corbyn deserves a very, very nice Christmas present, and I think he's really into his gardening, so and maybe buy him an olive tree so he can plant it, because he's going to bring peace and humanitarian prospects to many people around the world.
We also spoke to Richmond and Twickenham Friends of the Earth member Lucy Hagger about how she hopes the councillors will improve the environment.
In Twickenham, I hope to see continued good management of our green spaces and better tree planting and biodiversity implementation where we can in the area. But beyond that, we need to look at the other measures needed to reduce our carbon footprint in the borough. So that's looking at ensuring our housing is as efficient as possible, that's looking at better green transport options, putting a halt to Heathrow expansion, and also encouraging locals to make good green choices. So that's buying less stuff or having more choice around the food and options that they make and they can choose in the stores. So the tree planting pledges that have been made by the Labour Party as well as other leading parties that are running for the election this year, frankly it's fantastic to see. It's the first time we've seen all of the party leaders, including tree planting at this scale in their manifestos. There are lots of ambitious plans, Labour's being the most ambitious. They're planning 2 billion trees within 20 years. It sounds a lot, but the UK needs to increase its tree cover by 2 times the amount we have now if we have any chance of reaching carbon neutrality and net zero in the timeframes we need to avoid a global climate catastrophe. If I were getting a Christmas present for all of the party candidates this year, I would give them a visit from the Ghost of Christmas Future. So I recently went to see A Christmas Carol and I thought it would work perfectly. Our leaders are making gestures which are great to support action against climate change, but I think a visit from the Ghost of Christmas Future would show them just how bleak and dire and urgent the climate catastrophe is,